Good morning. This is Connor from 500 Edge, where we trade SPX 0DTE options. If you want to join the team, link in the description. In this video, I'm going to recap the previous session and break down what matters today ahead of the opening bell. On Wednesday, we took a total of 2 trades, both winners, for a total absolute gain of $1,660 or 1.16% in our 1% risk model portfolio, where we are risking no more than 1% per trade. Both trades to the upside, 7400 long call for 103% return and 7340 long call for 13% return. The SPX closed lower 1.62% to 7267, led lower by risk assets, technology down 2.2% and semis down 3.4%, despite a softer than expected CPI. Price was largely contained between two major levels, 7400 zero gamma on the upside and the SPX put wall 7300 on the downside. However, after repeated tests, we did break the put wall and closed at lows. There was a very nice put wall bounce in the pre-market ahead of CPI, which a lot of our traders were taking, with a logical upside target of 7400, which nearly hit by a couple points. Now, if you did not want to enter prior to the CPI due to the uncertainty, there were a couple entries to get into that trade in the cash market near the open. So going to the 1-minute chart, we had a buy entry right off 30.25 support, the break and retest of 50.45 support, and then, kind of clean skies here, 50 points of upside into 7400, where we peaked and rolled over. It looked bullish at the open. We opened up in negative territory in regards to breadth, but a nice positive surge. Growth sectors, nice positive surge on a relative basis, but everything rolled over at that 7400 handle. Same thing in regards to VIX. VIX got sold post CPI as well as at the open, crushing in to the 20 handle before essentially being rebid here, and it was quite sticky throughout the session, closing above the 22 handle. For today, ahead of PPI due out at 8:30, equities are trading higher. S&P 500 up 0.8%, Qs up 1.3%, Dow 0.7%, and IWM 1.4%. So green across the board, with technology XLK up 1.4% and semis up 2.7%, while volatility is lower, 7%, trading back to that 20 handle. So most certainly very bullish here going into that print, and there is room for more upside. There is plenty of fuel for a squeeze higher, at least into 7400, 7415 for today. So if bulls can break the zero gamma level, which shows at 7335, that would be a bullish trigger for potential momentum on the upside into that zone, 7400 and 7415, which is both the SPX and SPY flip. In terms of the downside, major support is going to continue to be 7300. This is G1, but it is not the put wall today. That put wall has shifted lower to SPX 7200. So that is generally a bearish indication, but on a positive note, bulls did put in a higher low yesterday. That is a low that is higher than the previous session. So that's the first indication of a potential trend change from down to up. But the key thing is, can we break that zero gamma level? If we can, bullish. If we can't, bearish. And it is probably going to be largely dependent on the PPI. Is it going to kill the pre-market rally? May PPI is expected to rise 0.7%, down from the previous month of 1.4%. For core, expectations is for a rise of 0.5%, down from the previous month's 1%. So expectations is for cooling inflation at the producer level. So unless we have a hotter than expected print, the market should hold up fairly well, at least in theory. But of course, as traders, we always want to focus on the market reaction function, and the VIX, XLK, semis will be key yet again today. Transitioning over to our dashboard, total gamma exposure for the SPX remains negative 670 million notional, trading below our main transitional level of 74.15. However, today, the zero gamma transitional level is of focus, 73.35, below bearish, above bullish. Now, just above, we do have 73.50, bit of resistance here, but if we can break those two levels, clear skies all the way up to 74.15. In regards to 7400, it is a weaker level day over day, and it is no longer the zero gamma level. So there's a good chance if we test it, or the next time we test it, we do get that breakout for further upside. On the downside, 73.25, bit of a level. I mean, this is a very similar profile to yesterday. You got kind of a gamma cluster here between 50 and 25. Below that, we have 7300. Remains a big level, but again, no longer the put wall. That put wall is all the way down at 7,200, which is the strike with the highest net negative gamma. This is regarded as a downside target and lower bound. In regards to the implied move today, we have 73.76 as the implied high, 71.58 as the implied low. That is a 1.4%. So a move up into the volatility flip of 74.15 would be a statistically significant move. Nonetheless, we are in negative gamma, and shooting 50 points beyond the implied move is not that uncommon. So keep in mind, still negative gamma, dealer flows destabilizing. They are chasing deltas in both directions, and we should anticipate elevated volatility once again today.